Morning. Thank you all for making the effort to be here. Whatever happens today happens because each of us have decided to take some time out of our lives to respond to this war that's raining down on Iraq today. Our immediate focus began when we began last year, early in 2000, when we began to get reports primarily not from our own press, but from the British press, indicating that the Boeing St. Charles missile plant was playing a crucial role in producing weapons that would be used in a then proposed attack on Iraq. Many of the contracts that the Peace Economy Project had found and discovered from the Pentagon placed the date of delivery as October 1. And at the time, that also fit into the best guesses about when the United States wanted to launch a war on Iraq, which was November or December of 2002. And as you know, a worldwide movement, at least for a while, postponed that war and placed obstacles in the way of the Bush administration. What had happened in Kosovo and in Afghanistan was that the stockpiles of air-launched cruise missiles and the JDAM bombs had been depleted. And so the Pentagon rushed up contracts for the plant here, which is the only plant in the country that assembles the guidance systems for these weapons, which means that the bombs and missiles that are dropping on Baghdad this morning all went through the gate that we're going to go to. And they're still coming out of there, and they're still working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week doing that. Obviously, we have a moment here that we don't normally have, where the very bombs that we're trying to confront are being actually used. Yes, ma'am. First of all, it adds a element of personal witness and commitment to the action that walking away from a gate like that, when you know what's passing through the gate, adds to an action. So it adds a sense of integrity and strength and persistence to the larger action, and everybody participating can then share in that persistence, okay? And yet everybody doesn't have to engage in it. It also, as you know from news reports around the country, adds to the press coverage and the visibility of the action that you get. I mean, I've been on the phone with press calling all over how many people are going to get arrested. They're calculating whether they're coming. And so that it always adds to the press coverage and therefore to the visibility to the larger public. It also inspires others who are there present with you, who read and see and hear about it in the press, to take whatever action they can take to stop the war. So there's a element in it that mobilizes others, not necessarily to be arrested in a civil disobedience action, but maybe to go to the rally on March 30th that they hadn't planned to go to. So it increases the number of people involved in the opposition to do that. You know, I'm here today basically, and have spent the last 33 years of my life doing peace and justice work because a group of people went to Catonsville and burned draft files in May of 1968, and one of their daughters is here. Where is she? Son, I'm sorry. Phil Berrigan's son. Your first name is? Jerry. Jerry Berrigan is here. But if Phil and Dan and others had not done that, I might have never entered the anti-war movement in 1968 as I did. So you never know what you can be doing. What I'm saying here is you never know what your act of resistance, what your witness might inspire in terms of events that actually could change history, as the Pentagon Papers did. So that's another reason to do it. The uncertain possible positive consequences. I think it's likely that we're under surveillance right now, but we're not here to hide anything, you know? We're here to design a public action and take responsibility for that public action. So, you know, whoever is here or whatever is here listening to us, listen well, because we're here to communicate, okay? And we want you to be a part of the action if you want to be.
I read too many of these. The 80-year-old guy who was around and wasn't one of the founders of the United Nations. Yeah? Okay, you saw that one? All right. And he was talking about how delighted he was with the way things were going at the United Nations. And the interviewer said, well, has this guy been living under a stone? Is he senile? What's he missing here? Because he's delighted with that. And he said, yeah, I mean, the discussion is taking place. The United Nations at this time is doing just what it should do. And so the United States has stepped away from that process. They are exposing themselves for what they really are about. That the United States is a renegade state. And that they really stand against the world.
Community in one form or another is necessary if we're going to be involved in this over the long haul. It is necessary. We need to know each other. We need to be able to rely on each other. You know, especially when you get into breaking the law. And especially in these dark days ahead where they're going to try to crush us. And they're going to try to crush our movement. And they're going to try to crush our communities. Okay. We've got to be together. We've got to be in community with each other.
And then we need to clarify, why are we involved in this? What are our motives? To see if we have the moral clarity to pursue this path of action, which, as Jerry mentioned, is very difficult and does pay penalties towards those who engage with it. But the outcome on the other end is clearly what we consider to be a force more powerful than anything that they're dropping on the people in Iraq right now, anything that they're threatening them with. So what we really have to do as individuals is find whatever that center is that grounds you so that you can take the abuse and so that you can take whatever gets thrown at you and really, literally dissipate that energy into the ground beneath you, kind of like, you know, water off a duck's back. And maybe you need to go home after something like that, take a few deep breaths, maybe cry or hug somebody or whatever it takes to get through it. I'm a Catholic worker. I come at this with some sense of gospel truth and the Sermon on the Mount and resurrection. I mean, that's what motivates me. When one acts on behalf of the innocent and takes that step of advocating for them in a nonviolent way, in a very real way, we are participating in what resurrection is all about. I mean, even Jesus wasn't quite sure that he was coming back. And so he engaged everything that was thrown at him. And he took it all, And when we go about our lives in that kind of embracing of mystery is about all that I can say about it. And whether it's standing out in front of Boeing and risking arrest, or being there as a witness to it, or whatever it might be, when we are taking those risks, we are almost becoming a conduit, if you would, for resurrection to break into the world. And whatever happens there, all you can say is somehow grace is happening, somehow mystery is happening, and something's coming out of it.